Hello, I'm Ben Lands, Executive Advisor for APC Media. We're here at the CGRE 2025 International Symposium in Montreal, Canada, interviewing thought leaders and experts in the power industry and bringing those insights to you, our readers, around the world. Our next guest is Harry Orton. Harry, welcome.
Nice to meet you, Ben.
Yeah. You know, it's great to meet you here in Montreal at CGRE. We've known each other for many years, but we've never had the opportunity to sit down and interview like this. And you're doing some interesting work. Tell me what you're doing now, and especially what you're doing here at CGRE. You're actually presiding over one of the sessions. Is that right?
That's correct. I'm session chair of two cable sessions, two B1 sessions that are on Thursday.
Okay, and both of those sessions are on Thursday.
There's 6 papers in each session. One of them is mine.
They pack them in a tank.
Yes.
So you'll be very busy keeping people on time, right?
But that's true. That's true.
And you still have fairly steady work in the consulting area, right? I see you with you're a well-renowned expert in underground cable, and I see you at all these GCABL and ICC cable meetings, IEEE meetings. But tell me a little about your role, what you've been doing in the industry, but then tell me also about the paper that you're working on.
Okay, I'm a consultant, and actually today is my 31st anniversary.
31st, 31 years.
I've been in the business 31 years now.
All right.
So I provide services to utilities and cable manufacturers, mainly related to, more recently, to submarine cables.
Submarine cables. And you have a working group, or at least a discussion group at ICC on that, right?
Yeah, that's C37D. And we've been going now for 15 years talking about submarine cable projects.
Excellent resource for around cable.
And this particular paper I'm presenting today is part of the work that we've been doing on major disturbances.
How long have you been working on this paper?
On this particular working group.
It's had a couple evolutions, right?
It has,
yeah.
Yes, and we started 6 years ago now.
6 years ago, okay.
And we've finally got the technical brochure published. That's technical brochure 959.
So it's on the CGRE technical brochure 959.
959, and it's called Behavior of Cable Systems Under Major Disturbances.
Major disturbances.
So it covers major disturbances like hurricanes, windstorms, tornadoes, and of course earthquakes and tsunamis.
Fires too?
And thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, and wildfires, or bushfires as they call it in Australia. And we've had contributions from people around the world, from Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, Japan, of course. Japan is drops for earthquakes, and Indonesia, and of course China has contributed as well, and not to forget Iceland. Iceland, they have 3 or 4 major earthquakes per day.
Per day?
Per day.
Per day. Oh my! So they've got experience. I didn't know that.
Yes, so they have a lot of experience with seismic situations.
This is fascinating because there's so much. I read the intro to your whole thing, but it's on my mind because there's a massive effort, certainly in the United States that I'm aware of, but probably elsewhere, to do undergrounding of
correct
and to install more underground. And this is a question that people have. So if I'm going to put this rather costly investment in the ground, how's it going to survive when these kinds of events happen? And there's not a lot of data out there. So this paper seems to be, and brochure seems to be very valuable.
It's first of all, I must emphasize the fact that, yes, underground cables initially are very expensive, more expensive than overhead lines. There's no doubt about that. However, you have to look at the lifetime cost.
I love that concept. The lifetime
Costs.
Right.
Not just the first 2 or 3 years.
Right.
You've got to look at
They are going to last long. Right? So these are decades, if not, I mean, why can't they last 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years?
Underground cables are installed to a certain depth based on the thermal resistivity of the soil. They will last, they will survive wildfires very well. The only thing you have to be concerned about is where they pop out at the end.
When they come above ground.
Where they transition from underground to overhead.
Right.
But underground cables survive very well in a wildfire.
That's fantastic. And you're collecting data from around the world on actual events, and people are sending you not only the stories and the remediations and the whether it survived or not, but it looked like, I remember I saw one case there where an earthquake had moved the earth and the solid dielectric cable had actually flexed with it, where I think some of the older design cables didn't survive so well. Was that the case? Well, the pipes maybe don't move so well? How does that work?
Well, I think you're referring to the earthquake on Hawaii Island in Japan.
Perhaps.
And there, the earth split and it rotated like this.
Wow.
And during that time, of course, the cables that were in ducts was severed. So to remediate that situation or to mitigate those situations, now what's done is what's called snaking.
Snaking, okay.
And you're probably well aware of what that is.
Well, but not all of our...
Snaking is just basically putting a loop in the cable.
And that's in the brochure?
And that's in the brochure.
Excellent.
Exactly.
That's exactly the kind of information.
There's a lot of information in there that it's not in the paper I'm presenting on Thursday.
Okay.
So it's best to get a copy of the Sea-Ray brochure that's available online.
That's fantastic. So you've talked about fires, you talked about earthquakes. A lot of times people are concerned about flooding. Now, I understand the terminations might be a problem, but can you speak to flooding and how cables perform in flooding?
Yes. Everybody's concerned about flooding. What it does to cables.
Right.
Not very much.
That's not the joke of it, right? It's like, I tell people, these cables, they're in condensing moisture conditions probably almost anywhere in the world. This is where they are designed to live, right?
I'll give you an example. One of the great things about this particular technical brochure is I had to go to all these places around the world.
Oh, I'm sorry. Some beautiful places.
I had to go to Bangkok. There was a flood in Bangkok.
No kidding, right?
There was earthquakes in Japan, of course.
Right.
I had to go to Japan to investigate this situation and find out what the mitigation measures were. However, let's talk about the example in Bangkok. In Bangkok, the river flooded its banks. The local utility, MEA, turned off the power for safety reasons. And the waters went down when the floods subsided.
Right.
The waters went down and cleaned off the cable terminations, re-energized the cables, everything back to normal. So do cables survive floods? Of course they do.
Of course they do, right.
However, there's a caveat in here. What happens if you have a washout, for example, and the bank's taken out? That's a different story. So there may be some damage done to cables in that situation.
When the soils are washed away.
Exactly.
Well, I would say towers might have trouble then too, right?
Towers always have problems.
Okay. Well, Harry, this has been a pleasure having this conversation with you about this important work, this Sea-Ray work. You're here in Montreal. What is it about this symposium that really has got you excited about the industry?
That's a very interesting question.
Yeah. You know people all over the world. You travel all over the world. You go to all these conferences all over the world. And here you are in Canada, where you live, but on the other side now, right? You're on the east side. But, here we have Sea-Ray meeting here in Montreal. What has been special to you this time around at Sea-Ray?
Well, finishing off the work for this technical brochure, that's the main reason for coming. And to let people know what you can do about these major disturbances.
Right.
And how underground cables actually survive these major disturbances.
Right.
And that's tremendously important to understand that, okay, I have a situation, I have a power system that is being subject to increased numbers, increased magnitude of disturbances, but yet underground cables will survive.
That's excellent.
That's the important thing.
And you're passionate about it, and you're able to get the word out here at this Seagrey event.
That's my objective.
Gary, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for bye.
Okay, Ben. Thanks. Okay. Good.